Hi everyone, my name is Kim and I'm a children's librarian at the Monroe County Public Library. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to make yarn wrap sticks. Boom, boom, boom. Yarn wrap sticks are a really fun craft to make and they're relatively simple to do as well. And they come out with these really, I think, just very beautiful and charming results. So how do you make a yarn wrap stick? The first ingredient you're going to need, of course, are some sticks. So I'm going to encourage you to go on outside, look around your neighborhood, look around your yard, wherever you might see fallen sticks. And I will tell you too, a good tip, if you're looking for some sticks, a good day to search for them is the day after a storm, because lots of sticks will fall from the trees. So the first thing you need is some sticks. And when you get home with your sticks, you're going to want to dry them. Just lay them out somewhere in your house where they can sit for 24 to 48 hours so that you can start your project with completely dried sticks. And I just so happen to have here a stick that is ready to go for this project. But look at this stick. It's a bit unruly. I do not need to make a yarn wrap stick that is this big and this crazy. So I'm going to investigate this stick and look for a good place to start. And right away, I can see that this piece here is so thin that it's not going to work very well. Like, look at this. It's like spaghetti. This is not going to hold wrapped yarn. So this part's not going to be so good. Let's see what else I got going on here. That's a little, that might be okay, but I think I like this one here. What I want to do is just break a part of this stick right here. And this will be what I work with. So much more manageable, much more in the scope of the project I want to build. And then I'm going to tidy this up. So I've got some little nubs on here. I'm going to try to break those off as best I can. And you're allowed to break whatever you like off of your stick. This is your project, so you can curate it the way you like it. I think I'm going to leave this little guy on just because it just adds a little interest. So here I've got my stick, and that is what I'm going to work with. Oh my goodness, I dropped my stick. So here's my stick. I'm ready to start this project. And I've got some cool colors, some really awesome oranges and reds and blues. So some really nice contrasting colors. And these are all not very much yarn, right? These are just some little scraps from some knitting projects that I had finished. And I have these little bits left over. So that's what I'm going to use for my yarn wrap stick. All right, and to get started, I'm going to choose one of these colors. I'm going to go with the blue first. And I'm going to hold that color against my stick. I'll take about a 1-inch tail, lay it on the stick like this. Hold it in place with my index finger. I'll actually do it this way. Hold it in place with my index finger and start wrapping it around. And I'm going to start coiling that yarn around the stick to hold the tail in place. Now I've got my coil pretty tightly wound. It's holding the tail in place. Everything's really secure here. You don't have to coil the yarn as tightly as I did. You can loosen it up a bit to leave some stick exposed. That makes for a really cool effect. Whatever you like, because this is your project, okay? Now when you're ready to change colors, I think I'm getting ready to change colors here. Go ahead and cut off your piece of yarn and leave again about a 1-inch tail and pick up your next color. I'm going to go with this orange piece. It has a little bit of a strange blue tuft in it. And do the same thing. Hold about a 1-inch tail in place against your stick and start wrapping. Again, using your wraps to hold the tail in place. Going around and around, kind of wrapping that in. If you want, you could leave some of that tail out if you like that. I'm going to go ahead and try to cover mine up. I'm going around. And I might just use this color to the end of the stick. You're allowed to change colors as often as you like or as little as you like. This one I think is going to look pretty cool just with these two colors, so I'm going to leave it. And I get to this little Y, I have some options. I'm going to try to do a figure 8 and use both of them there. So yeah, I'm doing a figure 8 to wrap in that little arm. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm going back to just doing a regular coil. Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? All right, when you get to the end, you want to leave about a 2-inch tail here. I'm just going to make a boop, little cut, and wrap this around and put a knot in. This is the first knot in your whole project. You only need the knot at the end, and I like to go ahead and knot it 2 to 3 times, just to try to help it be secure. There we go. See if I can get one more knot in here before I wrap this up. Yeah, nope, I dropped it. All right, and once I got my knots in place, you can see there's a little bit of a tail. What I like to do with that tail is just wrap it around and try to tuck it in under some of the other yarn that's there. Usually I can get it to hold that way. Sometimes I can't really get it to hold, and it really doesn't bother me that much if that tail hangs out. Ooh, this time I did a good wrap. One thing I have seen people do online is just put some glue on the end of it, so they use the glue to help hold that tail in place, and that's acceptable too if you'd like to take that option. And that basically is how you make a yarn wrap stick. And there's a lot of different kind of variations you can do on this. For example, if you only have one color yarn, you can use just one color yarn, and it looks really good to do that. If you have some beads, you could string some of the beads onto the yarn and coil it around with the beads on, or you could tie some beads on later. Or if you don't have any yarn, you can make some plarn, that's plastic yarn made with old grocery bags, and wrap your stick with that if you like. So a lot of different options about how you can do this. But what do you do with them when they're done? There's a lot of different options for that too, and I want to show you some of the ones that I've come up with. The first one is to make a selection of sticks in coordinating colors to kind of like display bouquet. And that's what's going on here. I've got a bunch of whites, browns, and oranges all together in this cup. You can see they're all different sizes. I've got a lot of different thicknesses in here. And all together, because I'm using those few colors, they look really nice. And this will be a really pretty display for our shelf. Another thing I made was this wall hanging. So here I've got a variety of sticks using just a few colors again. So this is pinks, purples, and blues. So they all kind of go together. And then I kind of strung them all together with another piece of yarn so I could hang this on the wall to make just a pretty little thing to hang up. So a couple different display options. I think if you wanted to, you could also take a few different sticks and kind of arrange them to make different letters. You could make different messages or just different designs. You could tie them together that way. That would look really cool. Another thing you could do, I thought about this when I was making these beaded ones, I think these look kind of like wands. So if you wanted to, you could make these as wands and pretend, just do some pretend play, right? You could be Harry Potter, or even better, you could be Hermione Granger, and just have a lot of fun with that. There's a lot of different options here, and I think it's just such a cool way to bring nature into your house, and then maybe also, you know, use these projects as a way to like keep a memento from a special walk that you took with a loved one, or a special walk that you just did by yourself. And I think it also could be a really fun activity you could do with your family or with your friends, just to kind of get together, spend some time making a collaborative project. I think there's a lot of fun opportunities there. You really are just limited by your imagination. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you make some yarn wrap sticks, and thank you so much for joining me today.